Thank you, Alexander, for introducing me. And hello to you all. Yeah, my name is Stefan. I recently moved to Serbia, like half a year ago, and I'm very glad that I have the opportunity to be on tonight's meetup with Agile Humans. And a big thank you for Alexander for the organization and everything. And I would say we dive in immediately, yeah? So I will share my screen. Oops, that was the wrong one, sorry. So here we go. So tonight's meetup will be about Kölsch and Kanban. A strange combination, but I was, of course, a bit homesick during the last month, and I was thinking about Cologne's pubs and about the organization of work that has enabled itself there over the last, I don't know, 100 years. So I wanted to together with you, I want to have take a look at how this pub system is run, because it's run in a specific way, and yeah, what are the connections with a Kanban systems design, and perhaps we can learn something from it to transfer into our daily work, or to rethink about the way we think about systems, teams, programs, projects, whatever. So tonight's meetup is about speed up the beer, and we dive right in. So just that you know what's awaiting you, I will give you a short introduction. I mean, we already are right into it. And you will have the possibility to meet one and each other in breakout rooms. Then we go into Kanban basics, and I prepared some exercise for you, so you can get your hands dirty on it. And of course, you can then come back and give us the results, so we can speak about them and see what each other came up with. And in the end, we will take a look about the actual workflow at this specific brewery, which is called Pevkin, and that will be about it. So I think we have a very tight schedule, so let's start. If anything is unclear or I speak strange words you don't understand, please ask immediately, because obviously I'm not a native speaker for English. So we've got one more guest. So, okay, to warm up, I will put you in breakout rooms, and we'll, how many people are we actually?
It is 11 people, I would say, but all of us. So if we exclude you, sorry, Stefan,
yeah,
that is going to be 10. Okay,
so I wonder if it's useful to go into breakout rooms, or if we just stay here, because 10 people is not so much. At least for this first part, we can stay all together, I guess.
Okay,
if it's okay with you. So, guys, who of you have ever tasted Kölsch, and what was your experience with it? I will exclude me. Alexander, you're the first in the list.
Well, that wasn't on my that wasn't on my visiting list, but I've heard that it's very famous because of the beer. So it's kind of Oktoberfest connection with that, maybe.
No, that is Munich. It's completely different kind of beer, right?
So shame on me.
Never
That's
mind.
not good knowledge about Germany from my side. But Michael said never too. So I'm not the only one. Thank you, Michael. So it's kind of his savior for me right now. Well, I have not, but I would like to. Maya said,
Okay.
no, she hasn't.
Anybody else?
Morana said, no, she hasn't. Mary, never. Oh, Stefan.
Well, I wouldn't say it's the best beer in the world, so perhaps you didn't miss too much. Anybody else? You can speak up, people. I mean, nobody will hurt you.
Yeah, guys, if somebody has taste. Never. No, I haven't. Never, never. It's negative answer.
Okay.
So what's interesting in?
Yeah, we will come to that, the kind of beer it is. So, second questions. What are your associations with on Kanban? Do you, if you hear the word Kanban, what comes to your mind? That would be very interesting for me to hear.
Can I speak? I'm new to this and I'm learning and listening, and only thing that comes to my mind, the first thing, it's the board and stickers.
Sure, obviously.
So that's basically it.
In my company, we are using Jira. So we have kind of board where we saw the things we need to do, what are in progress, ready for testing. And so that kind of organization and that app remind me on Kanban. It has a similarity.
Okay. Anybody else? Any thoughts or ideas?
Maya said the flow of the process, maybe.
Yeah, flow, it's a very good expression in connection with Kanban. So, if that's it, so be it. So, now to answer this question, what is Kölsch? This is Kölsch. So, but what is this exactly? It's beer that is only brewed in Cologne or at places where you can see Cologne Cathedral. It's not allowed to brew it anywhere else. And it's a pale, rather light, a bit hoppy beer. It's a bit like lager beer. It's not so much different from like Yellen or.
It's a top fermenting beer.
Yes.
Well, that was in my head, actually, if I can say like that.
Yeah, like lager beer or Munich beers also.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's about it. So I just copy and pasted a bit from Wikipedia. You can read it if you like, and I think you can find some shops in Belgrade where you can buy it. But as I said, it's not my favorite beer. But if you go into this pub where only this beer exists, of course, you drink it and you have a good time. Okay, then let's get into my thoughts on Kanban, because yes, of course, there can be boards if you're using Kanban, but I will perhaps give you some different flavors that can also be included in Kanban systems. And one thing that is quite important for me is that it's a system that is kind of self-regulating. So it has built-in mechanisms to regulate itself. So not everything has to be done manually. And we will see how this works out in this Cologne pub. Also, because if you have to do everything manually, you will not cope. As an example, this very old example with a Japanese garden where you get a piece of wood to be able to enter, and the pieces of wood are limited. So if the 101st guy wants to walk into the garden and there are just 100 pieces of wood, he would not be able to walk into the garden, and nobody has to count. They have just this token as an optical signal to the garden is full, so to speak. And of course, we have this everywhere, these self-regulating systems. In production, it's very popular. And for me, it's a way of designing and running systems, because you have to define a system, you have to analyze the system. What do we have here? And it will be your part in a few minutes. And of course, you have to operate the system. So you have to design it. Like I put workstations 1, 2, and 3 there, and then I have to run it. And to define on workstation 1, I will do this. On workstation 2, I will do this. So it's a way of designing and running systems of every size and every flavor, I would say. And it's also a way to set up systems to serve different purposes, because you can design a system to deliver very fast or to have extreme throughput, like 1 piece per minute. Or you can design a system like to have the best quality of the pieces, work pieces going out. So and you can change these purposes while working by retweaking the system. So it's a very flexible way to setting up a system to serve the specific purposes. In the end, it's a change management tool, because you can change systems with it of any size. You can put it on a team and work Kanban style in a team, but you can also put Kanban on a huge organization and work like that. And as Alexander already said, it's about flow, because work flows through the system, and you analyze the kind of flow that is taking place and the items that are flowing on the river, so to speak. And it's also about metrics, because you have some metrics that the system gives you, and you can take a look at them and see if you like them or not. And you can then start tweaking the system. So like lead time, cycle time, idle time, wait time, which is about the same. And of course, sometimes we have boards, or many times we have boards. But Kanban is much more than a board. A board is just the tool to visualize all the stuff that is inside your Kanban system. Okay, so let's start with system analysis. Do you have any questions so far? I take that as a no. So we will dive into system analysis. So let's start by identifying the building blocks of our system. So every system is built of something, and you will see in the example or in the exercise, you will enter that there are some like blocks you can identify, and you can then see what they are doing, what they are good for. And of course, you can give them properties. Like if you think again in a pub, there is a table that is rather fixed. It can be put somewhere else, but usually these tables are at the same position. But for example, glasses of beer are at the same position only for several minutes. So we have like fixed and variable items in our systems. And some items are temporarily there, and some items are always there. So that is also interesting to take a look at that. And then, of course, these items are just sitting there. A chair is sitting there, and the table is sitting there, and a glass of beer is sitting there. We need actions. So the chair is something you can sit on, and the beer is something that is delivered to you, and then you put it to your mouth and you drink. So there are actions attached to these items. And as I said in the beginning, you build a system before you run it. You analyze it, you build it, and you run it, and that's a huge difference. And that is something that is perhaps quite unique in Kanban. But for me, it's very important to have this distinction: building something, and while building it, analyzing it, and then running it, putting it into operation is something completely different. Okay. So I will give you a short overview about this pub we were talking about. So we have an impression how it looks like. That is from the outside. It's called Gebrüder Päffgen, and they brew their own beer, which is available only at 7 or 8 places in Cologne. And this is one of them, and they are brewed behind this building. So this is an old photo. I like it very much. There you see the kegs of beer sitting there and waiting to be ordered. And yeah, all in all, it's not very cozy or comfortable, but it's very, it's, how you say, designed for its purpose, to drink beer. And that's where the guests are allowed to sit, which is, yeah, kind of cozy. I come back to this in the beginning, or before, I forgot, the 1940s, I guess. And not everybody was allowed to enter this nice room. So some people needed to stay in this room, and they were not allowed to sit down. But they were allowed to enter this pub and drink beer. So that's where the guest usually sits, and that's the way it looks nowadays. That is, look out to the front. And that is where the waiters are working. They're called Kürbis, everything with Ö, like my last name, Kölsch, Kürbis, Koehler. And you see a specific way of getting the beer into the glasses. They have this round apparatus, which is, I learned today, called a wrath. And they open the keg, and they just turn it around. So in one big movement, they fill up like 12 to 14 glasses of beer, which is a very efficient way to fill up the glasses. And the glasses are 0.2 milliliters, so they're rather small. That's why you drink them very fast, and that's why delivery needs to be very quickly. Okay, so I think you got an impression about how this pub looks like. Hope you like it. If you're in Cologne, go there. It's a nice place. Now let's get to work. So you will go to some pre-prepared boards, some concept boards. And your task is to find these defined items. I put them there for you, and I think I show it to you. So you see the concept board now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we are here at the systems analysis part, and down here you see these predefined items. You can also put new items there if you want to want to add something. And just to get used to thinking about it, I put some 2 categories here, fixed and variable. Put them here. Just where you think they are right, and try to identify the critical items. So and tell us why you think they are critical. So, and then let's come back and discuss your findings.